Hey guys, Lou here from LT's Custom Woodworks. Welcome to the shop. Another day, another dollar. Today I'm starting on a seat bench build with storage. There's going to be a throw-on cushion on the top, which is going to be in gray, and the two drawers on the bottom. And it's going to be in lacquered white, and of course the cushion is going to be gray. I'm going to start off by doing my glue up. The way I've designed this is there's going to be, the bench is going to be two separate drawers on the bottom, of course with handles. And then on the sides, I'm actually going to do a 2" by 2" maple stock that's going to go all the way around with a plywood in the center. And it's going to be inset a little bit just to give it a different look. I'm going to start doing the ends first. Get my glue up. The bench is 21, I've got the measurements here, 21 inches in depth by 52.5 inches long. That is the cushion width, so the bench is going to be a little bit longer, but the depth is going to be 21 inches. So I'm going to start with the ends. I'm going to start cutting my maple stock and go from there with doing the glue up and the plywood. So at this point, again, there's this tongue on this that I'm going to cut off. That way I have a nice clean cut. Here I'm going to miter all corners, and then I'm going to start cutting my plywood, and I'm going to domino the plywood to this. But I'm going to start off by just mitering my corners at a 45-degree angle, and bingo bango, we are cooking. So I'm going to start marking out my dominoes. I will be using a number 6 30mm domino. I'll figure out my depth on what I want for a reveal on the opposite side. Here I'm going to cut my dominoes in. I got them marked on the plywood. Then I just got to change a setting on I got a piece of scrap here to test it, to bring it. I think I'm going to do it in the center to give it that look. So. Okay, it is now glue up time. And what I'm going to do is just glue the dominoes in the plywood first. Okay, so what I've done is, this is the bottom of the bench. These are going to be the sides, and then I got some other attachments that are going to be decorative on the sides as well. This is cut at 52.5 inches long. This here is cut at 17.5 inches this way, but it's 18.5 height the same as this. I'm going to screw on. You're not going to see the screws, so I'm going to screw the two sides in from underneath. Then there's going to be an inside panel that's going to sit on the inside. There'll be the top and then the divider in the middle with a face frame in the front. And I'm going to start off by just screwing these together, but I'm going to pin them in place to hold it in place so it's not going to move on me as I screw the rest in together. And one in the middle here, and that's good enough while I drive my screws in place. That should be plenty. Okay, so I got my back cut. Now you're going to see two different species of wood here. You got maple, you got Baltic birch. I ran out of Baltic birch. I got 3/4 inch maple laying around. I'm just going to cut that up and use that. I know that's quite costly, especially when it's being painted. So this is not really painted. It's not a stain and not a paint. It's just a tinted lacquer that's going to be white. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not too concerned about the two different species of wood, because it's not being stained, so you're not going to notice it. The only difference with that is that $100 a sheet compared to $60. So I'm not going to run and grab more right now. I got to keep moving in here, so I am just going to use the Baltic birch and go from there, or the maple and go from there. So I'm just going to pin this in place and drive my screws in. So my next thing is to put my divider in, and I got here 17 3/4 inches, and then the height is going to be 17.5. So I'm going to cut this divider. I'll divide it in the middle. I'll screw it from underneath, screw it, pin it from the back, or I can pocket hole screw it this way. That way you don't see it in the back. And then I could do my face front and then my top. So I'm going to start off with a piece at 17 3/4. I'll cut that now and get that screwed into place. Instead of pulling out my machine for this, because it's only 8 holes, 3, 4, 6, 8 holes, it's not worth it for me to pull it out. So I'm just doing it by hand. I got my holes all pre-drilled. I got my marked directly in half. I'm just going to drive a pin in the bottom, pin at the top there, just as a second set of hands while I screw it into place. It just makes life a lot easier. Now I can get started on the face frame. I'm just going to use some maple stock that I have kicking around. Inch and almost 2 inches all the way around. I'm going to start cutting it at 52 inches long. So I got some maple stock here. Now this has a tongue on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that tongue off. I got it on both of these. I'll just cut it off and go from there. So this width is going to be 1 7/8. So I am going to cut that at 1 7/8. So I'm going to drive some pocket hole screws and start assembling this face frame. I'm using 1 1/4. face frame is in place. I got it clamped. What I'm going to do is drive some 1¼ screws all the way around, including this, to the face frame. Once I put my top on, I'll drill from underneath and secure it in place. The top is all cut, sanded, the edges. I'm going to edge band both sides, or all the way around for that matter. I have to take a look now. And it's the same process as always. I use a file to file it down, then I sand down the edges. At a 5-degree angle with sandpaper a little bit, and there you go. Bingo bango. Bob's your uncle, Christine's your aunt, and Bill is your sister. So what I've decided to do, instead of mounting this just yet, I'm going to wait on this. Just the sheer fact that it's easy for me to reach over, and if I have to do anything, it makes it a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install my drawer slides. I'm going to start working on my boxes, and I need to put a filler coat, a filler piece in here for my drawer slides to mount. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces at 3/4. I'm going to glue these in place. I'll pin them down with the pinner, and then I will drive some screws in it, just for extra security. And then from there I can start installing my drawer slides. Now I'm only screwing the side pieces in place, and the only reason why is because the two on this end, they're very thin. So this one's a bit thicker. So I will drive a couple of screws on here, just for extra security. It is thicker, so I will yank these out, make life a little easier. Drawer slides are all put into place. I am going to make these at 13 inches in height. I'm going to start cutting 4 pieces at 18 inches long, and I'm going to be using 3/8 plywood for the boxes, and then 1/4 inch, or less than 1/4 inch, 3/16 of for the bottom. I'll cut my dados in and cut my bottoms in that way. So I'm going to start off with 13 inches in height by 18 inches long, and I'm going to cut 4 pieces, and I'll be using pine plywood for that. All the plywood pieces, it's 3/8 that I cut for the boxes. I'm going to cut a dado on all the pieces for my bottom plywood, and I'm going to use 3/16 for the bottom plywood, and then it's ready to be installed. I might edge band this. I'm going to sand it out the top, see what it looks like. If it's okay, I'll leave it. If not, I'll edge band it. But other than that, this is almost, once I'm done the boxes, I can start on the doors. The easiest way that I do my my dados, I'm going to raise this blade up 1/4 inch. The Let's go 3/16. That should be good. I'll bring this in. I will bring this in about a 1/2 inch. Lock it in place. Actually, I got it set at 3/8, which should be plenty. I'll make my pass on all the pieces. Once I do that, I'll sneak the fence over and make another cut, and I'll keep test fitting it onto the plywood to make sure I get a good fit. Glue this and pin it in place just to secure it a little bit better. I'll grab a rag, a glue rag, which is this should do it. I'm going to glue the 3 sides, and then I'm going to measure for my my plywood. My bottom plywood. That way I can get an accurate measurement, a better measurement, vice versa, whatever works. Whatever works. I'll slide my plywood in, and I never glue the plywood, by the way, just for swelling purposes and the humidity in your home and stuff like that. It needs to flex and move. Okay, so I managed to get this piece in. So now I am going to put the last piece in, pin it down, pin this side down first, and then that is looking sexy. I ended up blocking underneath. I put a 3/4 inch piece on the bottom, and then I added a 1/4 inch strip just to elevate this door. As you can see, I got the plywood, I got that. I'm going to set this in place. And I'm just going to drive my screws in. That is sexy. That's sexier than two tits on a dog's tail. For the shaker style doors, I decided to use pine, and I think I'm going to go 3-inch. Now I'll use pine on the outskirts, but on the inside panel I'm going to use Baltic birch. So what I'm thinking a 3-inch, because this is pretty big. This isn't mountain yet. These drawers are pretty big, so I'm thinking 3 inches to just balance everything out properly, I think might be okay. I'll try the 3. If I have to cut it down a little smaller to 2, 2 is more of a standard size, 2.5. I'll try that, but I'm thinking 3 is the way to go. Just due to its size. Although 4 is not bad either. I'll try the 4, and then I'll cut it down to see what looks the best. So what I'm going to do with this one here, I'm going to bring this blade up about 3/8. You know what, I'm going to bring it up 1/4 inch. How's that? I'll bring the blade up 1/4 inch, and I'm going to be using the plywood, and this is pine. It's 1/4 inch plywood, and what I'm going to do is on the back of these boards, I'm going to put this plywood flush on the inside. So I'm just going to rab it out an L groove on all the edges. That way when I put my panel together, it's going to sit flush with this back. That way when I put it up against the door, I can screw into it and pin on the front. It's going to sit flat, so when I put my handles on, there'll be no issues. So I'm going to bring this in a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to cut all these pieces to that 1/4 inch. Now that I've cut it that way, I'm going to turn it sideways and I'm going to bring it in this way. So the depth, I'm a 1/4 inch. I'm going to slide this over and I'm going to cut that out. To that 1/4 inch. That's what I meant. I don't know if you can see that, but I cut that groove, and then that panel is going to sit flush with that. I want to use 1.25 pocket hole screws to secure these in place. Do the same thing to here. And then I'll drop my panel in. And then what I'm going to do is just pin it in place. I'm going to use these oversized door pulls. I think these will look good in the middle. And it suits the size of the cabinet, so I think I'm going to go with that instead. So I'm going to drill my holes in the centers. I'm going to take care of that now. And then I'm going to install the door, sand everything down, and take it from there. Now the approach I took to this I made my marks on where I want it to go on around the edges. I marked a 1/2 inch in this way, 1/2 inch in this way. I'm going to use a filler on the bottom. Now where I drilled my holes for the handles, I'm going to set this on top of those filler pieces. I'm going to line it up at the 1/2 inch. I'm going to drive my one screw in where the door handle is. I'm going to drill it right into the box. Then after, I can take it off. I can drill the holes for the box. Screw my handle in, screw it from the back. Bingo bango, Bob's your uncle, Christine's your aunt, and Bill's your sister. And that's an easy way of aligning things. The easy way. Now what I'll do is I can use my square to make sure I get an even. This has got to come up just a touch. Do is remove the screws. I will drill and drill these holes again right through the whole box. And then I can install the door handle. Okay, I sanded the top down. I lined everything up. I'm going to pocket hole screw this top down from underneath. I'm using 1.25" pocket hole screws. Anything with 3/4 inch plywood, 1.25" pocket hole screws is what you need to use. Anything longer than that, it's going to poke through. I'm going to wrap all the way around, drive my screws in. There's about 8 or 9 of them. Then I can secure my sides in place, but I think I'm gonna leave that out for a bit yet. I'm gonna patch the stuff that I got to patch on the doors. Then I'll strip all the hardware down, the drawer slides, all the door handles, and get ready for a spray coat of primer. And then I'm going to apply a sand and sealer, and then 3 coats of pre-cat lacquer white. I'm going to attach the sides. Basically, I'm going to make sure it's even at the front here. And I'm going to screw it from the inside and make sure it's all into place. I'll make sure it's even at the back. Let's go to voila. Now, the Gemini White or any Gemini product is a good product. I don't have any issues with it. My issue is price. They raised the price in the last little while that it's affecting me. I will get this ready to go and start spraying. The most enjoying part of woodworking is when you're complete and you got to put everything together. That's the most relaxing and enjoying part. That I find it all enjoying, but it's satisfying is the word I'm looking for. Very satisfying. This has 3 coats of pre-cat lacquer white. It got a sanded sealer in between. I got a gray cushion that's going to sit on top that I will grab in a bit once I get everything put together. And that is that. And that pretty much wraps it up for this video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming vids. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.